I am not what happened to me, I am what I choose to become. Everyone you meet knows something you don't know, but need to know. Learn from them. Be grateful for your difficulties and challenges, for they hold blessings. In fact, man needs difficulties. They are necessary for healthy personal growth, individuation, and self-actualization. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Knowing your own darkness is the best method for dealing with the darkness of other people. You are what you do, not what you say you'll do. Life really does begin at 40. Up until then, you are just doing research. Everything that irritates us about others can lead to an understanding of ourselves. If a man knows more than others, he becomes lonely. The world will ask you who you are, and if you don't know, the world will tell you. Thinking is difficult, that's why most people judge. The capacity for directed thinking I call intellect. The capacity for passive or undirected thinking I call intellectual intuition. The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. To ask the right question is already half the solution of a problem. Thinking is difficult, that's why most people judge. A dream that is not understood remains a mere occurrence. Understood, it becomes a living experience. A special ability means a heavy expenditure of energy in a particular direction, with a consequent drain from some other side of. I have always been impressed by the fact that there are a surprising number of individuals who never use their minds if they can avoid it, and an equal number who do use their minds, but in an amazingly stupid way. We should not pretend to understand the world only by the intellect, we apprehend it just as much by feeling. Therefore, the judgment of the intellect is, at best, only the half of truth, and must, if it is honest, also come to an understanding of its inadequacy. The least of things with a meaning is worth more in life than the greatest of things without it. If a man knows more than others, he becomes lonely. Nothing has a stronger influence psychologically on their environment and especially on their children than the unlived life of the parent. I shall not commit the fashionable stupidity of regarding everything I cannot explain as a fraud. To me, dreams are part of nature, which harbors no intention to deceive, but expresses something as best it can. I regret many follies which sprang from my obstinacy, but without that trait, I would not have reached my goal. Where love rules, there is no will to power, and where power predominates, love is lacking. The one is the shadow of the other. The creation of something new is not accomplished by the intellect, but by the play instinct acting from inner necessity. The creative mind plays with the objects it loves. Even a happy life cannot be without a measure of darkness, and the word happy would lose its meaning if it were not balanced by sadness. As any change must begin somewhere, it is the single individual who will experience it and carry it through. The change must indeed begin with an individual. It might be any one of us. Nobody can afford to look round and to wait for somebody else to do what he is loath to do himself. I don't aspire to be a good man. I aspire to be a whole man. Looking outwards has got to be turned into looking into oneself. Discovering yourself provides you with all you are, were meant to be, and all you are living from and for. Your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside, dreams. Who looks inside, awakes. A man who has not passed through the inferno of his passions has never overcome them. One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. In each of us, there is another whom we do not know. Man's task is to become conscious of the contents that press upward from the unconscious. Follow that will and that way which experience confirms to be your own. The rational attitude which permits us to declare objective values as valid at all is not the work of the individual subject, but the product of human history. To find out what is truly individual in ourselves, profound reflection is needed, and suddenly we realize how uncommonly difficult the discovery of individuality is. The greatest and most important problems of life are all fundamentally insoluble. They can never be solved, but only outgrown. The first half of life is devoted to forming a healthy ego, the second half is going inward and letting go of it. Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to a better understanding of ourselves.